the channel. It's the Rare Hunter, and today we are starting a new segment. This segment is going to be called Thrill of the Hunt, where I talk about my journey in collecting. I've been playing card games for a long time, and I want to show off or just showcase some parts of my collection. Today we're going to be just starting off with my Flesh and Blood Cold Foil Hero collection. But yeah, let's just jump right into it, shall we? I keep my Cold Foil Heroes in an Ultra Pro zip binder. This is just a 2x2. Nothing fancy, but I think just a little bit of protection for it. So starting off, I just have some of the Arcane Heroes. We have the original Viscerai along with Marvels from History Pack 1. So let's see. Here we have Viscerai Runeblood. This is from Roach Nationals 2020, so the first season of Roach Nationals. Getting top 8 in Roach Nationals would get you one of the Arcane Heroes or the Welcome to Wraith Heroes. And also participating at Nationals was another chance to get these. Because of COVID and less events during this time, these heroes are pretty rare. Oh, and another thing was these heroes, only the frame was foil, and the hero itself, the actual art, is not cold foil. So I think that's when LSS was first experimenting. I think they're really rare because of that, but they don't look nearly as good as the History Pack 1 heroes. The History Pack 1 Marvels are another type of cold foils, basically. And cold foils in general are just one of the higher rarities in collecting Flesh and Blood cards. LSS recently, again, I think within the past year or so, introduced Marvels, which are just borderless, no text, just the name of the heroes, and then sometimes they're dual-sided, as we see with this French Azalea. But yeah, they're just a really nice way to showcase your heroes if you enjoy your hero or just to collect. They're very rare, and originally a lot of these were only given out for winning tournaments. But History Pack 1. So History Pack 1 is kind of like Chronicles from Magic, where LSS reprinted a curated set of cards from the first 3 sets: Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible. Most of these cards are in white border, with the exception of the chase cards, which are the Marvels, the 8 Marvels, along with, I think, 2 Fables, or maybe 3. So Heart of Fyendal, Eye of Ophidia, and Arcanite Shard. And those 3 are in European languages only. So they're in Spanish, Italian, French, and German. The English history packs are in white border, but the European ones are in black border. Yeah. I picked up this Azalea very recently, right before Outsiders launched for around $350, but nowadays she's anywhere from 500 to 600. This one is French, but these 2 are German. So I actually picked up the Dash and the Kano at PT Lille right before the Pro Tour. The second Pro Tour, I got in contact with, I think, a German store, and they were selling it, and then they had someone bring the cards, and so I picked it up at the Pro Tour. But these, I think I picked up for around 500 euros each. The heroes from History Pack 1 are pretty rare. I think I would say maybe 1 a case or 1 in 6 boxes. I don't really know. 4 boxes or 6 boxes. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on this. But I opened a case and I did not hit a cold foil, so pretty disappointed. But with 4 languages, there's just a good amount to collect, and there's 8 of these heroes. I would say I collected the Germans initially because I used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and German language cards are more expensive, more sought after initially. And so that's kind of my mindset was when I first went into collecting these. However, recently I've heard that maybe the French version is the rarest one, so I'm not entirely sure, but I do think French is my favorite of the history pack languages. So I'm probably going to be picking up the Marvel heroes in French for the ones that I don't own. Moving on, we have some Monarch adult heroes and some Tales of Aria adult heroes. Now, these heroes were given out in, I want to say, Road to Nationals Season 2. And this is Season 3. This was pretty much the first season where I started playing more competitively, pretty much when I started getting more into the game. I have a TCG background. I've played like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic and Duel Masters and Kaijudo and, you know, a lot of different things. But I've never really like traveled outside of my state to go to events. And because these heroes were pretty lucrative in their prices, when this first came out, I think like prices for these were anywhere from $300 to $500. And I think like Prism at one point when it first came out might have been $1,000. Don't entirely remember now, but there was just a lot of hype surrounding these, and you know, it's a waifu card. So, and the art is fantastic by Livia Prima. But I played at 3 Roach Nationals, and so I got 3 of these. I think I went 5-0 in Swiss at my first one, and then I lost in top 4 because it was like Bravo versus Dorinthia, and I just never played against Dorinthia before. I didn't have as much practice, and then from then on, I practiced the matchup, and I never lost to a Dorinthia ever again. So, learn how to play against Dorinthia, I guess. And then at the second one, I played Bravo again, where I went 5-0 in Swiss, and then I lost in top 4 to Viserai. I think I miscounted one of my damage for Mangle, and I wasn't able to like Mangle the Skeleton. Something like that. I don't remember. There was probably some better place I could have done, but yeah, a little disappointed. And then lastly, I went 4-1 in Swiss with Dash at a local Vegas Roach Nationals, and then I lost in top 8 to Bolton, which at the time I was like, oh man, this is so disappointing. But turns out I think that matchup is basically impossible to win from the Dash side, so no harm done there. I think at Nationals that year, we also got Cold Foil Heroes. So I think by Nationals time rolled around, it was actually Tales of Aria had already come out, and so that was one of the first chances for most people to get these Tales of Aria Cold Foil Heroes. The Battle Hardened, or I guess originally it was called ProQuests, before ProQuests now are called ProQuests. Battle Hardens used to be ProQuests. And at the second ProQuest, I believe, they gave out these Tales of Aria Cold Foil Heroes. And then at Nationals, people received a Cold Foil Hero for entering. And I think like some people who were unlucky actually got Monarch Heroes instead. And then these were also given out at the Roach National season afterwards. You were also able to get these in the Roach National Season 3. So I'm not really sure, don't quote me on this, but I feel like there's way more Monarch Cold Foils and maybe similar amounts of Tales of Aria, but it feels like there were more chances to get the Monarch Cold Foil Heroes. So these originally, like the prices of these were pretty high. And then they were like probably like $200 or $300. So again, it was like first time started to travel outside of Vegas to attend these Roach Nationals, like more higher level competitive events. And then like you kind of just like are able to recoup the value even if you don't win these events and get like the cold foil the gold cold foil, I should say, because like the heroes were worth so much. And these heroes mean a lot more to me because like you had to like kind of win them for the most part. But then I picked up my first was Lexi, but at Nationals I didn't do so hot, so I dropped and played the Calling the next day. With my Lexi, I traded someone who was sitting next to me for their Oldhim because I was actually playing Oldhim at that tournament. And it's funny because I think at the Calling was when Michael Hamilton first won with Oldhim, And a little bit of history behind that is actually before that, people were trying to figure out Ultim, but they couldn't like figure out like how to win in time, I guess. A lot of players were like saying Ultim is just a very fatigue style, and then I guess Michael Hamilton kind of showed the world that, you know, Findle's Spring Tunic was the way to go, along with like having go again cards like, you know, Enlightened Strike. And people just, as people learned how to play and play with and play against the hero, you know, Ultim's win rate has kind of skyrocketed and has been a mainstay in the format. But, you know, initially he was actually so slow that people couldn't really win with him. I actually went into time a couple times at this tournament. I think I was like 3-0-2 at the calling, because I went into time against Bravo and I went into time against, I want to say Briar or something. But eventually I kind of just like, I didn't want to play the calling anymore. I just dropped and gave the guy the win. Sorry, LSS, you didn't hear that. I conceded. The conceding rules were a little different at the time as well. But Briar I picked up afterwards, and Lexi I picked up afterwards. So this I got from a local, Alberto. So shout outs to him. And Briar I picked up on eBay for probably like around $220, I want to say. She dropped a lot recently, but yeah. And here we have Starvo, or Bravo, Star of the Show. One of my favorite cold foils because I did a lot of winning with this guy. You know, when he first came out in Everfest, he was 220 or 250. I picked up for like around 220 or something like that. But yeah, this hero was the first time I think Marvels were introduced, and when the what's it called? When the set dropped, I think people were kind of joking around about Starvo, how he kind of sucked, but someone quickly figured out that you could just play a bunch of elemental cards. I would say towards the end you would play like 15 of each or so, to reach like maximum fuse potential, along with the 3 pulses. But yeah, I played a lot. I won. Let's see, I won like the first Pro Quest of the season with Starvo. I really like it because it was like, at the time I was committed to playing competitive Fab, but nationals like didn't go so well for me, and I was a little disappointed. So I was like not really into Fab, and the guy who kind of popularized Starvo was kind of like, hey, this is for my Fab dads out there, you know, like the people who kind of want to play competitively but don't always keep up with the meta. He was just like a really solid crutch. And then I actually played him at the Pro Tour as well after qualifying. And then I top 8'd a Pro Quest as well. And maybe that's when I got these. I don't actually fully remember now. But yeah. Yeah. Played him at Pro Quest, played him at Pro Tour, played like a defensive version. So I went Captain Planet, then I went a defensive build that my friend Spencer Freeman showed me, and I went 9-5 at the first Pro Tour, which is pretty decent. I think I have a deck profile of the deck on my channel somewhere if you guys want to check it out. Pretty good. I think I went 6-2 into the mirror, where like I played with a bunch of DRs and Sledge, and that was just really good. I had a really good time in the mirror. And oh yeah, there's a backside to this. But nowadays Starvo is like $50-$60 because he Living Legend pretty much right after Pro Quest Season 2, which I actually won as well. I won in the finals against Prism, which was probably Bravo's worst matchup, because I played like an aggressive version of Starvo, like with Entwine Lightning Reds and Lightning Surges, and yeah, just more ways to have 0/4/4s that can either be damaged, or you can just throw it at an aura and kind of just like clear 2 auras more easily with time skippers. But yeah, really love Bravo, but too bad he's not worth anything anymore. Maybe until Living Legend format. Who knows? All right, what's next? Next, we have some young heroes from Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising, along with this Katsu, because I had nowhere to put this Katsu. I think the Welcome to Wraith heroes are a little weak with the new heroes coming out. Like, having heroes that have talents means you have a bigger card pool. So I haven't really done much collecting for the original heroes in terms of getting these original cold foils and also getting the marbles. I don't think I'm going to collect many more of these originals because now they're just super expensive. I think I saw a recent listing on the Facebook Marketplace where someone was trying to sell a playset for, sorry, not a playset, but like all 8 heroes for like $9,000 asking price, which I assume like each hero is around, you know, 1,000, a little more than 1,000. So that's that. Yeah, he's just very rare. Katsu was just a hero that I really enjoyed initially. Didn't really play much of him, but I got him for a really good price because I won him on an auction on eBay for around like $350. So mostly just a collector piece for me, but from the original 4 heroes, I mean, everyone's a Katsu fan. But maybe I should be picking up a Bravo because I played a lot of Bravo, as you guys have just heard. Oh, that actually reminds me. Just remembered. I use Dragon Shield sleeves to protect my cards. These ones are the Dragon Shield clears for the outer sleeve, and the inner sleeve is KMC Perfect Fits. Well, originally I used KMC Perfect Fits. This one is, I think, Dragon Shield inners. I was recently trying them out, and I really like how thick the Dragon Shield inners were. And these ones, I use Dragon Shield clear mats. I think I would recommend just like the clear glossy, like the original Dragon Shields. They show off the backside of the Marvel very well because they're both gloss. They're glossy on both sides. And then I also recommend Dragon Shield clear inners because they're a little thicker than KMCs, and KMCs I feel like recently I've had a few bad batches where like the cut was a little too short, and I didn't really like that. So yeah, I think Dragon Shields are a little more expensive, but I think I like the quality. But also, I would say I would not recommend the side loaders, nor would I recommend the sealable Dragon Shields because those are just really tedious. Okay, back to this. These heroes are from Welcome to Wraith, Farewell to Wraith event, which is basically the event where Welcome to Wraith Unlimited went out of print. So Ellis has had an event where people were able to draft Welcome to Wraith one last time, in a sense, like an official event. And Top 8 was able to get these Cold Foil Young Heroes. In general, I would say Cold Foil Young Heroes are not nearly as pricey as the adult ones. And also, I think there were just way more events compared to these adult ones. Because these are more casual level events. Like I would say skirmish level events are just like a little step up above like Armory, right? So there's just more events, more access to them. Originally, I thought they were going to be pretty solid pickup to like collect a bunch of them, and then maybe, who knows, they'll go up in price in the future. But I think there was just a lot of these. And I also kind of missed the boat on getting them when they were like 15, 20s, and now they've gone up a little more. Doranthea is, I would say, probably the most expensive out of the 4, with Katsu being pretty cool for me personally because in Outsiders, he is draftable. Like, you can play him in Seal, you can play him in drafts, so I'll be playing Outsiders draft at the Pro Tour and probably Nationals as well. And what I really like to do is I like to have all of my cold foil tokens, my cold foil equipment, and kind of just bring it with me so I don't have to go dig in the common token bins at the drafts. So I actually had to put these from my little draft box into the binder to show off. But yeah, really big fan of these heroes. They're pretty affordable to collect and well, they're not that good in Blitz, I would say, but they're pretty affordable and they look pretty nice. Now, the Arcane Rising heroes, LSS did not do a farewell to Arcane, so these heroes are actually a little harder to get. They're kind of like drip fed. This Azalea was from the skirmish season, and first place got this. So either you were playing limited or you were playing blitz for this skirmish. And I won this one playing Uzuri in the sealed portion, and then I drafted Benji in the top 8. There was like 5 assassin players in the draft in the top, and I was sitting next to my local friend Alberto, who loves drafting Rangers. So I knew that like Ninja was going to be open, and I kind of just drafted to the table. And that's kind of what happens when you're playing like local drafts, I feel. But yeah, Azalea is pretty rare. You can get her for the first place, or you can get her. LSS gave like another one as a raffle prize. So I think Azalea right now is going for like 100 to 150. But yeah, she's much rarer and harder to get than the original heroes. Dash is another one. I got her at Calling Indie. I think there was also like another Australian or New Zealand Calling that gave out Dash as part of the Fabled package. And yeah, I think the heroes pretty much pay for themselves for the whole package. I don't remember if it was 100 or 150, but I know like Baltimore is like Calling Baltimore, Pro Tour Baltimore has a Fable package, and that one's 150. So I don't remember if it was 100 or 150, but I think like the Dash, the hero itself, pays for itself. A lot of people can't attend these callings, and so like, you know, if you attend and you just pick up the package, you can probably resell them online later for those who are collectors and want to collect them. Same thing with Kano. Kano is probably going to be, in my opinion, the best Blitz hero until he Living Legends, or until Stormstriders is out of the format. I don't think he's like perhaps the best pickup, because Kano is kind of close to Living Legend, 300 points out of 500 or so, I think. And he's also kind of pricey, but if you're a Kano main, you got to pick one up. Very rare. I got this at Calling Charlotte at Nationals for, I think, 2022, I want to say. So there's only 2 callings that gave these out, 2 callings that gave this out, pretty rare. And lastly, the Viscerai has not been given out yet. Like, I don't think I think maybe they've printed it, but because the Viscerai is already Living Legend, I assume they just have no easy or good way to give out that prize. So yeah. Next, we have some Crucible Young Heroes. These are given out at armories during this time. I think, I want to say 2021. But there were not that many events. I think Fab was kind of on the upswing, but not many stores have picked up Fab yet. So originally, when I picked them up, these were like anywhere from 70 to 100. But as stores picked up the game, perhaps I think they got like some of the older armory kits. And so there were a lot more of these on the market afterwards. So I think I remember seeing some of these heroes for anywhere from 30 to 50 for a while. And I think they're fine. They look really cool. Benji is also in Outsiders, so, you know, I love that. I love to be able to use my cold foil heroes in my drafts and in Blitz. Data Doll is just a fan favorite because she's currently the only hero with 3 intellect, so if you want to play Flesh and Blood on ultra hard mode and never block, then you can play Data Doll. Captain is one of the 2 merchants currently. I think he has fantastic art and what's it called? Yeah, he just looks really nice. I think in the original Blitzathon, James White might have showed off a Captain deck in Blitz at the time. But yeah, pretty cool. And Kasai, lastly, she is probably the best Blitz hero out of these 5. But who knows? Benji just got another specialization in Outsiders, so he might have potential. I think these 2 are the most expensive out of the 2. They've probably gone up in price recently, but overall, these are just okay, I would say. Shiana, I picked this up for like probably like 70 or 80 bucks. She's not a cold foil, but she's in here because she is legendary. And I'm probably not going to be picking up a cold foil Shiana, so this is kind of my placeholder, but also like, who knows? I probably won't be able to pick one up. I think Flesh and LSS just released like print run articles and today or like this week, and so I think people are starting to pick up more Shianas for their collections, so her price is going up. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to show off. Oh yeah, I took her out of this lid for a reason. The main reason I wanted to show her off is because Crucible Unlimited is they're all Japanese print, and it is the glossy Japanese print. So the rainbow foils look amazing. I think this is the best print for Japanese for the Japanese print. Welcome to Wraith Japanese print. Welcome to Wraith Unlimited Japanese print. Tales of Aria Unlimited, and some Outsiders Unlimited, or some Outsiders Japanese prints are all like the matte printing, and I think the rainbow foils for those look fine personally. They're just darker, more saturated in color, but some people don't like them. But with Outsiders, it's like the first time Japanese print has cold foils, and Japanese print cold foils look pretty awful. So they look really dull, and so probably like if you look at Flesh and Blood, not Flesh and Blood, Magic the Gathering etch foils, I think it's pretty similar, but they don't look amazing. So yeah, this print in particular looks amazing. I love collecting Crucible Unlimited rainbow foils, and I guess that's just like a little personal opinion. Nothing special about this Dorinthia, actually. I don't know why I pulled her out, but these two are just from the battle decks. I guess one comment about them is that the cut is not very good for them. Usually, I think maybe there was just like poor quality control for the two Blitz decks, and the price range for these decks were a little too high personally for the product itself. I don't think beginners really care to have like cold foil heroes. So like $50 price point is a little high. I think if you can get it for like 30 or 35 from some of your local game stores that are just trying to like offload the product to get new players to join, it's a pretty good price point, entry price point, and I think the two decks are pretty well balanced against each other. But overall, I would say like for a new product, like when it first came out, it was $50, so that was a little expensive. And Rhinar reprint, first time we got a cold foil reprint, I would say, and it was an alternate art, so that was kind of cool. I don't think cold foils are barred from getting reprinted, but as we've seen, like, you know, when they do reprint it, they seem to like do a special cold foil, like a special treatment to them. So for these heroes, they were marvels instead, and I think that's kind of like another reason why I think cold foils are pretty good to collect, just besides the fact that they look really cool. Following that, we have Prism, some Monarch heroes. This one is signed by the artist Livia Prima. I really love Prism, the art for Prism, but in particular, I got this signed because the Rare Hunter got top 8 at Worlds in 2022. Pretty cool. But yeah, these ones are from, I think, Skirmish, and I don't remember if I think we played Blitz for most of these skirmishes. Other than that, nothing too special for these heroes. I think because again, like, they're from skirmishes, they're more local events, there's more of these events, these are going to be a little cheaper than your adult heroes. And same thing with the Tales of Aria young heroes, also from skirmish, also a little less pricey. I think with Tales of Aria, a lot more stores were a lot more adoptants of Flesh and Blood. So there were just more stores hosting these events, and there's probably more of these than there are of these, but don't quote me on that one. I think Ultim is a really interesting case, but because like he's probably one of the top 3 heroes in Blitz, but because he's more of like a competitive hero, not a waifu, not a waifu. The price for Ultim, young and adult, are cheaper, just because they don't competitive players generally don't foil out their decks. Following that, lastly, is Icelander. She is not from Tales of Aria, but she is from Aria itself, lore-wise. Really love the Aria border, but this is from Everfest Armory season. One thing I gotta say about this is there is a Marvel Icelander that was first introduced in Everfest. Icelander was introduced just as young Icelander until Uprising. So kind of disappointing that they did like a Marvel Icelander and also like Icelander promo for the Armory that season. I think this Icelander is only $20. But like, I think what LSS wanted to do was like every hero has a cold foil version and maybe some get marbles. But yeah. Next we have Volda and Genus. Volda and Genus are just also part of the Everfest Armory season. Nothing too special about them. I guess I'll just show off the art. Genus is the second merchant in Fab. I don't think merchants have deep enough of a card pool right now. They're mostly a generic hero plus like a couple like silver palms as cards. Volda might have potential in the future because Ultim is going to rotate soon in Blitz, and she has 21 health, so who knows. Fi and Dromine. This is from Uprising Skirmish season. Really like that LSS gives these, like, you know how you're gonna get these heroes. Like, same events every year, same ways to get them. The only disappointing thing I gotta say is there is no Icelander for Uprising. There's no cold foil Icelander with like the new art for young Icelander. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. And this one, Yorick. I think Yorick is one of the coolest promos we've gotten in Flesh and Blood. The art is super beautiful, very vibrant colors. Another Aria hero, and this was given out at Pro Tour 1 and people who attended the calling as well. He's the first Bard hero, and he's pretty pricey right now, I think. But yeah, I think one of the first times we see like a second Marvel we've seen in Flesh and Blood, I think. But the cool thing about Yorick is that he basically is for Ultimate Pit Fight, and which is like the Flesh and Blood Commander / EDH equivalent multiplayer format. Yeah, like all heroes shuffle their starting decks together, and then they share the same deck and graveyard for this game. This card is not legal in sanctioned events, like at side events at a calling, but this is just like a really cool, chaotic, maybe like fun hero, kind of like from like unsets in Magic. Just like breaks the rules of the game a little bit. So yeah, really collectible, really beautiful card, really hard to get, I guess. I think there's there's probably like low 1000s of them. Dromai, this was from Road to National season for Uprising 2022, I assume. I only got one this season because we only had one store in Vegas that got a Road to Nationals. I think attendance kind of dropped a little for us, and LSS mostly does Road to Nationals, ProQuest, and skirmishes based off of armories that the store hosts. We've recently switched to like monthly armories, which is easier for people to attend. But during the season, Kenny and I worked a lot on Fi when Uprising first dropped, and we played Stubby Five right before it won the calling in Europe as well. So we were on that deck for a while, but in Vegas, it was really funny because we got some of our other friends to play it, and the meta was super inbred at this Road to Nationals. In particular, I think 5 or 6 of us played it, all but one top 8'd, and the person that didn't top 8 got 9th. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, Fi was so good, and our local, like, Road to Nationals was not ready for that Fi dominance. But yeah, I got that in, I got this Dromai at the Road to Nationals, and then I ended up having to play Kenny in the top 8, of course, which is a classic. And so Kenny got the invite, I lost, and a little more story to that is, funny enough, I forgot my Fi deck at home. I thought I put it in my backpack, but apparently I just like checked my backpack, saw my deck, but I left it on the table. And so I dropped my first match. I was like, you get the win. I'll go and pick up my deck. And people were like, oh, he's cheating. He saw the meta, and then he's going to go pick a counter deck. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Fi is so good. So I ended up starting 0-1 and 1 out with Fi. But yeah. Ended up playing another Road to Nationals, but I did really poorly. I added like Lava Vein Loyalty Red because Kenny said it was really good, and then didn't really play with the card much. So like I just started my turn, played it, and it didn't have go again, and that ended my turn. So I lost the mirror match pretty much off of that. I feel like I had some other plays, like getting another Phoenix Flame out to my grave. But it ended up pretty much not mattering because my opponent just double Art of War me, and he even forgot to pop Stubby. He's like, oh, I forgot to pop Stubbies. And I'm like, dude, don't even worry about it. You're hitting me with double strike for like 8 damage. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't even matter. So that was that. I wanted to pick up like the Cold Foil Fi as well. Originally, I was gonna pick it up from Spencer, but I sent him the deck for Nationals, and he top 8'd with it, and he's like, oh, maybe now I want to keep it. So anti-shoutouts to Spencer for that. But yeah, now Fi is like 150 or something like that. Probably not going to pick one up anytime soon. Same thing with Icelander. Icelander was only given out for the winner of the Road to Nationals, and now she's like 450. So I'm gonna probably wait for her to Living Legend before I pick her up. But yeah, that's my Dromai story. That's my Road to Nationals Fi story. Moving on, we have the Emperor. The Emperor is there's a Cold Foil version, there's a Marvel version. Marvel version is like super rare. I think there's only like 10,000 copies of it or something. And there's also a Rainbow Foil Emperor, all from the same set. It's a little disappointing because this is a legendary, and I don't know, getting a legendary hero kind of feels bad, and you know, can't draft Dynasty. So overall, I know why LSS did it, like have like a regular Cold Foil version, but also have like the Marvel version, but you know, just kind of disappointing. Same thing, or not same thing, but like moving on, we have Arachne, who was the Dynasty Armory promo. Nothing special about him. I think I split the finals with Ultim Mirror, and then the week after I won another one. So yeah. Oh, I'm missing a Yoji. He's just not in the binder. I recently just traded for him. Yoji Cold Foil is just another Armory promo. So, but yeah. Moving forward, moving next up, I don't know. We don't have good transitions just yet. We have some Rainbow Foil adult heroes. These heroes are Biobox promos. Nothing really special about them. I just got them for a really cheap price, and I just like that. They look nice on a 4-page binder. These ones were Armory promos, actually, and it's kind of interesting because LSS stopped doing Biobox promos that give you the heroes in foil, which is a little disappointing. But you got the Cold Foil Titan's Fist, and you got the Rainbow Foil Ultim, Cold Foil Shiver, and the Rainbow Foil Lexi, and then the Cold Foil Rosetta Thorn, and the Rainbow Foil Briar. Lastly, we have this Briar token, which is just given out to people who played Armory, or like if you just go to your LGS at the time. LSS just sent your store like a pack of these, and nothing really special about this except for this is the Errata Briar. So if you look at this Briar, she'll say, whenever an attack action card you control deals damage to an opposing hero, create an embodiment token. This one is only once per turn. Briar was super impressive because of that. She was the best aggro deck, and you know, you were able to deal a ton of damage, always make your opponents leak. And so you create like several embodiments a turn, and then on your turn, you would just block with a non-attack action for like 6 or 7. Super busted. So they fixed her. And then we have Rainbow Foil Phi, Dromai, and Icelander. These were given out at the Team Trio Blitz event, which was super fun. Each of your members had to play a different Blitz deck, and then two out of the three players had to win, and then you win the match. It was a team calling, and you got your team got one of each of these for participating. I got Dromai, which was because I got the last pick. My teammate took Phi, and he sold it to me, and then this was from my local Alberto again. Shout outs to him. Because Icelander Cold Foil is so rare, this Icelander actually has gone up significantly. I think I've seen some for like 200. I use this one because my excuse is that the rest of my Icelander deck is in Rainbow Foil. I don't even use the Cold Foil Frost Hex or my Energy Potion. Because my entire deck is Rainbow Foil, so that's my excuse. But these heroes are super cool because they're super rare. The Uprising World Premiere and the Team Calling were like the same weekend. So there were 3 of those events, one in Vegas, one in Europe, and one in like New Zealand, Australia. And so there's very low population of these. Because like it's only given out to the people who participated in the team calling, and you had to have a team to play, so it's like, you know, kind of difficult. And yeah, I really like these, but kind of wish that LSS just did them as Biobox promos, I guess. Let's see, here's just a Riptide and Arachne. I have an Uzuri as well, but these are just given out as, these are just given out as skirmish prizes with the Azalea as the first place, and then Uzuri, Arachne, and Riptide were top 8 or participation prizes, which are pretty nice. And lastly, this Cold Foil Uzuri, which I will proceed to put back into my draft pile. I won one of the pre-releases playing Uzuri, of course, because in sealed, Uzuri is super busted, just like all the best mid-range cards, because Ninja and Ranger needs very specific combination of cards to be successful, whereas Uzuri can just play pretty much anything and everything. So that's pretty much it for my Cold Foil Hero collection. I'm missing a few, but I wanted to show these off as well. These are the Calling New Jersey prize wall tickets. Nothing special about them, but they are pretty thick cardboard, and I think when CFB hosts their events, they do these prize wall tickets, and they are so nice. Star City doesn't do them. They do like more paper, but these ones look so nice that I want to collect them. I think I have some other ones as well, but I didn't bind them. I'm missing some Cold Foil heroes, but yeah, I think like I'm missing the Cold Foil Ira, but that one is super difficult to get. I think I remember they were giving them out when it was like they had a Blitzathon stream, which was like showing off the different Blitz heroes. One of the original LSS Twitch streams, and I think there was just like a giveaway prize. Probably some other ways to get them, but like I'd love to get one day. I'm missing like a Rudy Gem Keeper. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's actually another merchant, and maybe I misspoke earlier, but that's a non-foil, but another rare hero. So I would probably add it to my binder. Missing a couple of the adjudicators, the judge promos, uh, Typanis and whatever the new one is for the new season. The cold foil and the rainbow foil. Probably would just get the cold foil. So those are pretty cool. And obviously the Viscerai. Don't know when they're gonna get that, but you know, Young Arachne, I'm gonna pick up at PT Baltimore. Kind of sucks as a PT player. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not looking forward to dropping day 2. Like I'm expecting myself to make day 2, so it kind of sucks that like I have to buy the Fable package to get it, as opposed to just being able to like get it in my Pro Tour package or something like that. But you know, that's part of the game, I guess. And let's see. Yeah, I talked about the Icelander and such. But yeah, probably not going to pick up any more Marvel Heroes anytime soon. They're a little pricey. But yeah, that's what I have for my my Cold Foil Hero collection. Thank you everyone for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. I'll be showcasing more of my collection in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.